How many of you out there know what these tokens are for? And really, how many people out there are going to admit they know what these tokens are for? Hi everybody, Beanmeister22 here. These tokens are very famous and well used. Little pieces of nostalgia from when Times Square was a pit of filth and prostitution and adult-natured things. And before you say, well, it still is a bastion of filth and adult, it's nowhere near as bad as it was before Giuliani cleaned it up. There are things that were legal and going on in Times Square, the likes of which even Los Angeles hadn't seen and wouldn't see. These little tokens, and yes, they are little, they're only 20 millimeters. I know, what's a millimeter? Yeah, they're really small. Size of a nickel. They're not round. They're octagons, and they are from Show World Center, 8th Avenue, New York City, 42nd Street. Show World Center opened its doors in 1975 and completely closed in 2018. But really, in 2018, it was merely a shadow of its former self. The live acts ended somewhere around 1998 or 1999, and then Show World closed about 2004 or 2005, but Show World Center lingered on for several more years. If you've ever been to Times Square, doesn't matter what you were there for, there was flashing lights and adult movies and hookers and free prostitute magazines. Hey, that was Times Square. Whether you were a businessman on your lunch break or a sailor in for shore leave, Times Square was where you were going. Obscenity laws aside, there was a whole lot of stuff that went on in Times Square that wasn't exactly legal. And what's really funny is Times Square was a pit of filth, but everybody had to go there. If you went to New York City, you were going to Times Square. And then old Rudy Giuliani cleaned it up in the 90s, got rid of the crime, got rid of most of the sleaze, and it was good for a time. It was almost wholesome and healthy atmosphere, but it's been downhill since then. Have I been to Times Square? Well, I guess that's my business. Would I go to Times Square now? Well, no, not unless I was armed, and since New York is not one of those carry states, no, it ain't safe to go to Times Square. Or San Francisco, or Chicago, or many other places around this great nation. But with that said, we can always collect little pieces of history. Love it or hate what it stands for, this is a piece of history that the likes will never be seen again. So now you're asking, have I had these in my possession all these years? Well, no, hell, I didn't even know something like this existed until I did a little reading online, and that's where tokens were invented for certain venues. The history of Times Square is an interesting read, and you could say, man, how could they get away with what they were doing? And, well, it was the 70s, right? Because I've read up enough on Times Square and the history of Times Square that I understood that these were a little piece of history. And you can say, yeah, porn history. Well, that's what made Times Square what it is. This flashy light, fancy place that everybody has to go to. This is what it's all built on. All right, leave your comments in the comment section. As always, thanks for watching.
Beanmeister22, the most dangerous man on YouTube.